facts you might not know. From the biggest flops to the greatest hits, this is Trash Can Tidbits.
Ahoy hoy everyone, I'm Beaton, and welcome back to this latest episode of Trash Can Tidbits. Moving is going along pretty well. I should be fully moved in by the time Anthrocon is over. So in the meantime, enjoy this week's episode. Last time, I asked the question, which James Bond video game featured a zooming bullet in the opening title sequence? The answer is, Everything or Nothing. This game was really unique in that it not only featured Pierce Brosnan as Bond and an all-star cast in its own original story, but its own original theme song, performed by pop singer Maya, who also appeared in the game as Agent Maya Starling, an ally of Bond during a series of missions set in New Orleans. The bullet zoom appeared during the game's opening credits. And now, with that addressed, let's get started with fact number 1. Did you know that the child actress who plays young Natasha Romanoff in Black Widow is the daughter of a well-known action star? In the film's prologue, we are introduced to a young Natasha. She's played by Ever Anderson, the daughter of Resident Evil star Milla Jovovich and director Paul W.S. Anderson. Ever had previously appeared as the Red Queen in Resident Evil The Final Chapter, and has a green belt in Taekwondo and can speak fluent Russian, just like Natasha does. In other words, a true chip off the old block. Fact 2 comes from my friend Samson Silvo. Did you know that Monty Python star Eric Idle has a couple of ties to purple dragons? To begin with, he played Devon, one half of the wisecracking two-headed dragon Devon and Cornwall in Quest for Camelot. The latter dragon, Cornwall, was played by Don Rickles, who is no stranger to animated films himself, being the voice of Mr. Potato Head in the Toy Story franchise. Currently, Idle's likeness is used for the Dreamfinder character at Epcot's Journey into Imagination ride at Walt Disney World, which is the stopping grounds for the cute purple dragon, Figment. Thanks for that fact, Sam. Fact 3. Did you know that the actor who played the Indian shaman in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom could not speak a word of English? D.R. Nanayakara was Sinhalese, and a born native of Sri Lanka where the movie was filmed for the Indian village. Nanayakara spoke his native language, but didn't speak English at all. So what Steven Spielberg ultimately did was he would read the shaman's lines out loud to the actor, who then copied them back without knowing what he was talking about. If you watch the film closely, you will notice pauses in the shaman's dialogue. This was due to Spielberg coaching him from off-camera, waiting for his next bit of dialogue. Nanayakara even moves his hand across his face during the line, "It brings darkness." Spielberg was doing the same thing to better visualize what he was talking about. Fact 4. Did you know that there was one fight scene from the 2010 remake of The Karate Kid that was filmed but deleted? The final scene at the Kung Fu tournament pretty much echoes what happened in the original film, where Dre, played by Jaden Smith, wins and earns his opponent's respect. The deleted scene shows the rival Kung Fu instructor, Master Lee, about to punish and hit his student, Cheng, for not beating Dre. Jackie Chan's character, Mr. Han, intercedes, and the two adults end up fighting each other. Eventually, Han gets the upper hand against Lee, but Dre stops him. This gesture justifies Han's and Cheng's respect for the young boy, and the two leave the arena in triumph, but not before Dre's mother gets in one last punch against Lee. The scene was deleted, but is still on the Blu-ray, and if you look closely in the final shot, Master Lee is still laying on the floor. Fact 5 comes from my friend Cat the Fox Tor. He says, did you know that the vehicles in Zootopia were designed by real automakers? Specifically, the now retired chief car designer from the Ford Motor Company, Jay Mays. Mays worked at Ford from 1997 to 2013 and chief designer for Audi Volkswagen, where he designed the 1997 VW Beetle model, which saved the company from bankruptcy. Mays contributed to car designs for several animated films, notably Cars, surprise surprise, Big Hero 6, and of course, Zootopia. He designed all the vehicles for the film, including the police car that Nick and Judy drive at the end of the film, which, on close inspection, does have a Ford look to it. Thank you for that fact, Cat. That was a really good one. Fact 6. Did you know that the big revelation that Darth Vader is Luke Skywalker's father was kept a secret during the entire filming of The Empire Strikes Back? The scripted line that was used on set was, "Obi-Wan killed your father," and Mark Hamill reacted as such. The first person to know the truth was, in fact, James Earl Jones. He was told the real line during the recording of Vader's lines, and even he didn't believe it was true. But he said the line with conviction, as he always did. I guess back then, closely guarded Star Wars secrets were kept under lock and key. Nowadays, spoilers leak everywhere. Fact 7. Did you know that a leading actor of romantic comedies is also an accomplished cellist? Dermot Mulroney, whose filmography includes parts in several romantic comedies including My Best Friend's Wedding and The Wedding Date, can actually play the cello. He has played with several artists, including the likes of Melissa Etheridge, Alanis Morissette, and Rain Phoenix, and has been featured on the soundtracks of quite a few high-profile movies in recent years, including 2 Mission Impossible films, Star Trek Into Darkness, and the Amazon TV series Mozart in the Jungle. Man, for a guy who's primarily known for romantic comedies, let's have one set at the symphony so we can see Mulroney's skills firsthand, huh? Fact 8. Going back to Star Wars, sort of, did you know that Rick Moranis' voice for Dark Helmet in Spaceballs isn't entirely based on James Earl Jones' voice? When he has his helmet over his face, yeah, his voice becomes comically deeper, in part based on Jones' voice. But Moranis actually took inspiration from the actor who physically played Darth Vader on screen, David Prowse. Prowse, who was British, would actually speak Vader's lines on set, and his voice obviously sounded very different, nothing like James Earl Jones. So, Rick Moranis is pretty much parodying both actors' voices. Fact 9. Did you know that the team of X-Wing fighters known as Red Team were changed from a different color in the original Star Wars? The script read that Luke Skywalker was originally supposed to join Blue Team and were going to wear blue uniforms and markings. It was changed to Red Team because the uniforms blended in too much with the blue screens that were used for the filming of the Death Star fight sequence, and the color red stood out better. Blue Team would later make their debut in Rogue One, A Star Wars Story. Also, if you look and listen closely in Rogue One, Red Team loses one of their pilots, and Luke later inherited his call sign, Red 5. Fact 10. Did you know that the villain of Spyro 2, Ripto's Rage, got his name from the Japanese version of the first Spyro the Dragon? The first Spyro game was released in Japan and, like in the US, became a sleeper hit. The Japanese characters that make up Spyro's name on the game's cover art look like they spelled out the name Ripto. So, in a nutshell, that's how Ripto got his name. Development on Spyro 2 proceeded smoothly because of that intended inspiration. Although, on a side note, the European and PAL territories called the sequel Spyro 2 Gateway to Glimmer. I guess using Ripto's name in the title sounded a little too mean for a game made for children. And here's today's trivia question. The movie musical Singin' in the Rain is a true classic and has quite a few pieces of irony. In a movie in which the plot involves the use of dubbing, there's quite a fair use of dubbing even among the film's main stars. The sounds of tap dancing was dubbed, as I mentioned in one episode, songs were dubbed, and even dialogue was dubbed and looped. There's still a fair bit of confusion over how much of the singing that Debbie Reynolds did was actually her. One example of this is the song Would You, in which Debbie's character, Kathy Selden, records the music track for Gene Hagen's squeaky-voiced character, Lena Lamont, to lip-sync to in the movie within the movie. My question to you is that Debbie Reynolds actually singing the song Would You in Singin' in the Rain? And there we go for this episode. I hope you all enjoyed what I'd laid down for you. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and ring the bell to be notified for future videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.